Sleep apnea is terrible all the time, and it's even worse during the holidays. And that's because this is the time of the year where we should be having fun and being excited. But when there's a lot of travel, there's different foods, including alcohol and all the different holiday stress, it can actually make sleep apnea even worse. And that's because of the disrupted sleep and also the metabolic defects that are going on when you have sleep apnea. That's why in this episode, I'm going to show you how to address some of the big issues and weaknesses in your physiology because of sleep apnea that are made even worse during the holidays. I'm talking about cravings, alcohol, traveling, stress, family members, and even though I will not be able to resolve all the family issues that may arise during the holidays, I will be able to give you a lot of tools in your toolkit that will allow you to take care of your health while still being able to enjoy the holidays fully without feeling like you're restricting yourself. I'm Dr. Dylan Peckus, your guide in overcoming sleep apnea naturally here in a Christmas sweater-ish. I mean, it's not really a Christmas sweater, but it is different. If you ever noticed, I wear pretty much the exact same outfit every single episode. Thought I'd mix it up for the holidays here, really timely video. And we're going to go over some of the top ways and things you need to consider when being able to maximize your holidays. So let's dive into, well, that was an effective zoom. No one has vertigo. You might now. Foods, what to do, because there's so many delicious things, and I really don't know what most of these things are. Is this even English? What did I pick here? I don't even know what that is. That's pumpkin pie, which by the way, pumpkin pie is gross. I just don't like it. If you have a way to make pumpkin pie actually taste good, let me know. I never have liked it. But the reason I'm bringing this up, holiday foods, because when you have sleep apnea, you have different metabolic demands than other people. It's just part of it. Sleep disordered breathing, that's a fancier term for a category, a broader category that contains sleep apnea. Sleep apnea is the primary constituent of that category, by the way. Nonetheless, this study looked at different hunger hormones, and one of the more important ones is known as the leptin. I know there's all these different bars. I'll make this easy. Okay, like, don't freak out. I know the first minute of the video, you're like, should I watch this? The answer is yes, you should. In this study, they looked at people without sleep apnea, people with sleep apnea. We're just focusing on one of the graphs here. Let's focus on this one. So the red dot, pretty sure that's red on the left. This is people with sleep apnea. This yellowish dot is people without it. They looked at leptin levels. Leptin levels way lower in people with sleep apnea. And that's a huge problem because leptin is the hormone that tells your body to stop eating. And that's what the hunger response is. When there is low leptin levels or no leptin signal, as shown on this graph, then our body has the signal to eat. Or as this says, om nom nom. This is why I picked this graph. And specifically, leptin will increase carbohydrate cravings, which is a big problem when you have these Greek Christmas cookies, which actually look pretty good. There. Okay, if you have that recipe, drop that below. And then as a result, this will lead to more problems with your sleep apnea because when you eat carbohydrates, the direct metabolic effect they have will actually lead to worsening sleep apnea. That's exactly what the study found. They found that high carbohydrate consumption was associated with worse sleep apnea, more apnea episodes. And I even see this in many clients if they're looking at their sleep data. They have one day where they had a lot of carbs, maybe they had a lot of pasta, a lot of cookies, whatever, and their apnea episodes go way up, oxygen levels go way down. It's not a good situation, and it's because of this dramatic increase in carbohydrates. Now, I'm not saying carbs are the devil. You don't need to cut them out and go keto. I'm just saying you want to be mindful of them because what we want instead is your leptin levels to be higher. So we have this of where leptin tells your brain, hey, easy on the French fries, steak, and are those hard-boiled eggs? Is that ice cream? I think we're gonna say that's ice cream because that other pairing just seems really stupid. Go easy on that. All right. Thanks. So the higher we can bring leptin, the less of carbohydrate calories you'll have. And so when you have a plate of all the cookies, and especially the ones like the white ones with like the cherry goo in the middle, I have no idea what those are called. Those are delicious. This can be the difference between having like 2 versus 10. Okay, this is the difference. So one of the best ways to improve leptin signaling so you have less of a hunger or less of a carbohydrate craving is to improve or increase the amount of protein in your diet. There's going to be 2 times of the day to do this, especially during the holidays. One is going to be with breakfast or even as breakfast because maybe you're traveling, not doing breakfast or whatever. Maybe you just don't do that. But having a scoop of protein powder, whether it's whey, casein, whatever, let's keep it super simple. Even just a protein shake you get like pre-made. It's the holidays. It doesn't need to be perfect. Does not need to be perfect. Just needs to be, done. You do that around breakfast time, and then also about 20, 30 minutes prior to a holiday meal. That will raise leptin levels so that not only at that meal, but also throughout the day, you're having less cravings. Sounds good, right? So you can do the protein shake, or also you can just increase the amount of protein in your diet. Simple as that. But especially at breakfast and just before a holiday meal. And the magic number will be anywhere from 20 to 40 grams of protein, depending on your size. You're bigger, or like 40. So like as you approach like 200, 220, 240 pounds, more towards, 40 grams. Then as you're smaller, like 120, 140, 160, etc., around 20 grams protein adding on to those 2 time points. Now, the other thing is to set reasonable boundaries ahead of time. So when we're working with our clients, a lot of it is being able to go over like, how can we set things up to win? Because there's managing your health over here in this one hand, and then there's also living your life. And the holidays it is just that, because you should be using your health as a platform to live your life, not as this separate thing that completely takes over your life. Because if all you do is like sit inside a room or like, just eat your perfect nutrients and you have like soylent, you know, IV into your arm, what's the point of that? It's yeah, you're healthy, but yeah, you're not really living. So you want to have boundaries ahead of time. So something I mentioned before, where I was saying it's the difference between 2 versus 10 cookies. Okay. We have a weird propensity in our physiology to want to either bend or completely break and like all or nothing mentality. The all or nothing is the tricky part. Because if you say no carbs, no whatever, the moment you have one cookie or two, I'm just speaking for myself perhaps, you will just go on to 10. Or you feel like finishing out the box or the sleeve, it's your duty to society. It's not. Okay. So whether it is certain carbohydrates, certain foods, even glasses of alcohol, set those reasonable boundaries ahead of time. Because if you say no, it's going to break, things are not going to be good. So plan to bend so that you don't break. So just sneaking in some mindset work over here for you before some more science, blah, 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 which is everybody's, I've been told that's why people watch this in the first place. But nonetheless, other big part is your sleep schedule. Because when you're traveling, it's the holidays, people are out and all these different things. That's one of the things that go out the window of where usually maybe you go to bed at 10 and now with travel, family, etc., you're going to bed at like 1 a.m. So let's talk about this here. So circadian rhythm is when your brain is interpreting, is it night? Is it day? What should I do? Because your body does different physiological events based on the timing. And there's sleep physiology and night physiology. Okay. Now, this is really important because when you have sleep apnea, you will have these irregular periods of sleep, and your body doesn't really have a good idea if it's night or not because you're getting woken up, you're getting startled, and all those different aspects. And that will prevent your body from really knowing that it's nighttime versus daytime as well. Okay, it still has some idea. It's not completely in the dark or in the light, if you want to say that. So, this is something you need to be particularly mindful of because, in fact, I think I had the data here. Oh, the data is next here. But when you look at circadian rhythms and sleep apnea, you'll find that going to bed later and greater variability when you go to bed will be associated with worse health outcomes because of worse sleep. So I have a client, quick story here, and we were looking at their snoring as one of their primary metrics for them because that was unique to them. And effectively, what we were looking at is what is like the strength of their snoring, how much are they snoring. So this is a lot, this is less snoring. Can't get any simpler than that. And if we look at these side by side, obviously very different. Now, between these two, we could say like, oh, what were all the differences and all this and that? But here's the thing. There was only one difference between these two nights. And this is something that was super common for this individual almost on a weekly basis for 3 months at a time. The only difference, not when they ate, it's not exercise routine, not even a breathing technique. It was just simply when they went to bed. Sometimes he'd be up for 2, 3 hours longer trying to like get some more work done, very high demand job. On the left is going to bed at 1 a.m. On the right was going to bed at 10 p.m. That is the biggest factor between these two. And we just made sure, okay, always get to bed, especially before midnight. And that's when things start to get more consistent and easier for him. So it's a huge, huge factor. So for yourself this holiday, have a stable bedtime, okay? And here's a picture to really invite you to do so. Let me pull that up a little bit more. So have a consistent bedtime and also before midnight. Okay, I don't have all the data in front of me or right here for us, but pretty much anytime someone went to bed after midnight, their apnea events would just skyrocket dramatically. Now, the reason for this is because when you delay going to sleep, you will go into REM sleep faster, and more of your sleep will be REM sleep. REM sleep is when you will have the most apnea events. Thus, you get to bed before midnight. Instead of more REM sleep, you'll have more deep sleep, and that will allow sleep to be more restorative and also reduce the amount of apnea events. So, set up a consistent bedtime, and then also some balloons like this would be great. Okay. Everyone go to bed by 10 p.m. or 9 p.m., whatever floats your boat. So that's that aspect. And now for the most exciting one, or maybe least exciting, up to you, alcohol. Okay. As the holiday spirit, that's a pun. That's a pun. That's a joke. Laugh. This is something that people will encounter. Okay. Because it's just a part of the holidays, right? And, no issues. Now, well, I guess there is an issue. That's why we're talking about it. Now, the big problem with alcohol with this great graphic, who made this? I'm not sure who they are, but thank you. Effectively, normally you have like some tone or some, a certain amount of tenseness or contractions in these muscles in the back of your airway. When you drink alcohol, they become floppy and they close down. All right. So left, it's open, right, it's closed because consuming alcohol leads to floppiness. Now, the reason this floppiness happens is because when you drink alcohol, it will stimulate these neurons that if you put GABA, which is a neurochemical, you put GABA onto them, it will relax muscles. This is effectively how alcohol is inhibitory. That's a big problem. Now, to circumvent this or prevent this from happening, I could just tell you don't drink alcohol at all. Okay, great. What did we talk about earlier about bend versus breaking? So we want to have some rules in place so you know what's going to be very manageable for you. So number one factor is more than 3 hours before bed, because that way you're able to allow some washout to happen. So that's one of the number one factors. Number two, as a way to possibly block the effects of GABA. L-taurine. Okay, now I just want to preface this. I hate the idea of, we have this chemical over here, so let's use this other chemical to circumvent or prevent it. I don't like that long term, but if you're gonna have red wine because you can't stand, Aunt so and so, I'm not gonna blame you if that's one day out of the year. If you want to be a little, smart about it, biochemist, and just take, one or two of these along with the drink to help offset the function of GABA on those muscles, I'm not going to blame you. Okay. Because if you block GABA, then this isn't happening at the neuron level. And then instead of being on the right, all closed off because you have loose, floppy muscles, then they maintain their original tone. So it's easier to keep your airways open. So taurine, L-taurine specifically, at I believe that's 1,000 milligrams or just 1 gram of that amino acid has been shown to reduce the effect of GABA from alcohol on smooth muscle and also skeletal muscle contractions. Really exciting. That's alcohol there. Now, next one is going to be holiday stress here. I think that's a good representation of that. You want to think of it in two ways. You want to think of set and reset. So let me go over each one of these. So set is going into your day with the right expectations, also the right mindset. Now, there's not going to be a one size fits all way to approach this. Just not. Everyone's going to have their own things for their nervous system, whether it is prayer, whether it is journaling, whether it's one of those fancy biofeedback things that beeps at you and tells you what to do instead. You want to have something that you take the time. And also, again, what we were saying before, you want to set those boundaries ahead of time, whether it's 5 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes in the morning by yourself to get set up for the day, however you best do. Because a lot of times when I'm talking to clients about how to reduce stress, more often than not, they had something that was helpful for them and it just fell off the bandwagon. So you just get that back in and plug it into your day as best you can. That's set. So whatever that looks like for you, pencil that in. Now for reset, there's going to be a lot of different things because there will be things that trigger you. There will be things that cause stress, whether it's being late to something or, so and so is 4 glasses of wine deep and trying to tell you about their geopolitical views and blah, 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 blah. Okay. That can happen. So being able to have something is very important. And of course, I'm highly biased towards breath work. And that's something I would really super recommend of you being able to do either in that moment or you can go off and do it somewhere else. And it doesn't need to be complicated. It could be just simple box breathing, 5 in, 5 pause, 5 out, then 5 pause, and then 5 in and repeat that. It could be the 4-7-8 pattern where it's inhale for 4, exhale for 7, pause for 8, inhale for 4, and just repeat that cycle. Just something that, like, literally you could do that in that very moment to be able to calm your nervous system down, ground yourself because you're paying more attention to your breath as opposed to, um, something going on around you. And that will help reset your nervous system. And not only will this improve the quality of your holidays, but also because of how sleep apnea works and it jolts your nervous system in overdrive, the more calm you keep your nervous system during the day, that will pay off then at night. Okay. Very, very important. So that's another critical factor for you. And before we get into kind of the survival guide on this, well, I guess I can show you this. But the one thing I do want to say is as you're going to the holidays, the other thing is because I emailed my list and asked them like, hey, what would be helpful for you guys? And one of the biggest things is also just being able to set the bar humbly low during the holidays. Because our life or our health is not just physical, it's mental, it's social, it's all these different factors. We shouldn't sacrifice one over all the others. Because again, if you're just in a room with soylent going into your veins, never see sunlight or talk to anyone, but you're getting full nutrition, okay, cool. You're missing out on things. But being able to really balance everything in your life, because talking to people, having connections, that's going to be great for your health as well. That's why when you look at all the blue zones, even though some of them are just blatant lies, of the ones that are accurate, they do have a lot of strong social networks, which will contribute to better health and longevity and all that because how it also impacts your physiology. So it all comes together. So again, view the holidays as you're going to just do what you can. Have a few non-negotiables, like some of the things we talked about, whether it's bedtime or, 2 cookies instead of 10, whatever. Have a few things. Don't set yourself up for failure by having all these rules that you need to do 10, 12 different things before you can be successful. Okay? Set the bar low. So if you do 1 of 2 things right, like you do 1 round of breath work that day, cool. Everything else is a bonus for you. And speaking of bonus, the bonus for listening to me is the holiday survival guide where it covers different topics and different things you can do and all that. And of course, is also the sleep apnea reset protocol workshop. Maybe you want to get yourself a little gift for the holiday season or for no reason. And I'll stop rhyming promptly, but essentially, this is helping you get more towards the core of sleep apnea, resetting your breathing patterns, and also addressing other holistic aspects like nutrition, etc. That is there for you. So, how you can get either one of these, uh, for the survival guide here, well, for both of them, really, the link will be in the description. You click the title here, this will pop up below, and you just click it, okay, for either the guide and also the reset protocol. And at some point, there may have been a button. I'm going to put a button right now. Put the button for the sleep apnea reset protocol here, future Dylan. If you're wondering why I say future Dylan, it is specifically for when I edit this video later and I search for the word future, and that's what I put here. There you go. Some secrets, because I know only the real fans will be watching this episode. So there you go. And again, if you like QR codes and also links, here they are for you. OCHnow.com/holiday for the survival guide and for the workshop, OCHnow.com/reset. QR code. You get your phone, or you can get my phone. You just come up here. You do this. Well, you have to have your camera app on, and I'm not going to try to do it. You put the camera app on, you scan one of the codes, and then you click the link, and it takes you up, and away to whichever one you want. So you want the holiday guide on the left, reset that program on the right. So there you go. Thank you so much for watching, and I really hope you have a great holiday. Remember, your health is really the foundation of like the joy you're able to have in your life. So yes, you may have some improvements to go. You may not be all the way there. And in fact, you may be very far from it. But still, take the time when you have it, because the time that we have with our family, our loved ones, the moments we're able to have, we don't get those back. So being able to just like bring that focus to them, and yes, your health is there. Okay. Maybe not on the back burner, maybe on the mid burner. Still there. Okay. You're not going to let it go totally, but still have it there. You're not going to move it forward. You're not going to be like, everyone, no, no holiday turkey or ham because I have to, you know, eat fish or whatever. But really recognize like your health is your ability to really be there with people and then, enjoy it as well. So you can have your cake and eat it too, as they say, by moving your health forward, improving your sleep apnea, and having a great holiday. So there you go. I'm Dr. Dylan Peckus. Have a happy holiday, and I'll see you soon.